Hello, it's Lara Joe. Hope you're having a beautiful night. Come on in. We're going to do collective energy read. Let me know how it's going, where you're from. If you want to tell me something boring. Alright, so the advice coming out right now. Truth be told, enchanting gifts, and unfinished business. So that thing that keeps bothering you, that you keep going back to, it's because you got things to go back and explore and figure out what you need to learn from that situation. So unfinished business, truth be told, and enchanting gifts. So that thing that you went through that you're like, oh gosh, it was so hard. No, go back and look at it, because there's probably beautiful lessons you learned along the way about yourself that you need to remember, right? What did you learn about your ability to thrive even when you felt scared? Come to the edge. All right, so push yourself. Alrighty. So remembering that it's okay to feel like you are anxious. Not to the point of where it's too far though. Mending. So this is, okay, when we talk about scar tissue, right? You have to break through the scar tissue to be able to have healthy tissue grow underneath. So mending, like you have to sometimes push past the point of pain, or push through to the point, like go to the point that scares you, because if you push just past that, and I always give this example of runners, right? So runners, because I'm not a runner, I don't love it. So runners, you know, they hit the wall, and if you stop at the wall, you don't get further. But if you push past the wall, or past that mind point where you feel is your limit, you can keep going longer. But you have to walk yourself through that. All right. Breathe. So it came out in reverse. So are you forgetting to do the most basic thing, which is breathe? Okay? You don't have to know everything today. Sometimes you just need to sit still and relax. All right? Fork in the road. So we've come to that point where you have to make a decision. Right? Something has to be done. So fork in the road, you finally have to say, okay, I have to make a decision, one way or the other, and then you have to live with that decision. So we do the best that we can with the information that we have. So when you're called to make that decision, you're like, okay, one way or the other, I have to go down a path, and I can't keep going down the same path. You just have to make the best decision, right? Weigh all the options. Either way, you're going to have an experience. All roads eventually go back to the same point. So, all right, here and now, and a change in the wind. So are you paying attention to how things are changing around you? Okay. So being present and not focusing on what went wrong in the past and what could go wrong in the future. Realizing, okay, things are changing, and if I don't pay attention, I'm going to miss all of the cues. So when things are changing, like, okay, so I live in the woods, and when things get quiet all of a sudden, like, I start to pay attention because it's very noisy out here. So when when you sense something changing, are you tapping into this moment so that you don't miss the signs and the cues? All right, so paying attention to the way that things are changing around you so that you can pivot and change with them. All right. Yin and chaos and conflict. Okay. So this is, have you forgotten in everything that's going on, all of that noise, to tap into your nurturing side, whether it be with you, whether it be with other people? So chaos and conflict with yin, this is our feminine side. It's the receptivity. It's how we relax. It's how we create. So, Sonia, we're doing just collective energy. I'm just shuffling through cards. So if you come in, you like the message, sit, listen. There may be a message in there for you. Okay? So chaos and conflict with yin. So if you can't feel safe to receive, you never feel safe to relax, right? Which sounds obvious, yet when you don't relax, you can't actually heal your nervous system. So stop being in that constant fight or flight. Start making healthier choices, all right? If it makes you feel chaotic, maybe stop going there or hanging around that person. Mending. All right. Feels as if needing to ground the nervous system. Mending is like relaxing your own nervous system in yin. Okay. So providing safe spaces. So I was having a really hard time feeling safe in my space, and somebody recommended, and it was actually incredibly helpful, was to make a space in my closet. And it really does work because it feels like a womb. And it's like a space that even if it's really noisy outside, being in that space allows you to feel safe even for just 5 minutes. And I'm going to admit, it's really hard to sit in that space sometimes because you're like, you feel anxious. So realizing it's safe to relax even in tiny spaces, you can make a safe space to calm your nervous system. Okay. All right. Enchanting gifts. Get bored. Learn about yourself. That's how you find out what your talents are, is when you learn about yourself. I think when we all had to sit, or those of us that were sat in isolation during 2020, which for some of us, like I'm one of those people, I'm constantly moving. I've been that way since I was a little kid. So 2020, when we all had to sit still, I got really bored and I didn't, there wasn't enough to do. So you start learning, like, okay, do I like to sing? Do I like to draw? What do I want to watch? So sometimes being bored or sitting down allows you to learn about yourself and what your magic is, what you want to do, not what anybody else wants to do. All right. And yang is coming out in reverse. So when you, with yin and yang in reverse, it's like if you forget how to be feminine, whether you're masculine or feminine, you put yourself in complete imbalance. If you don't know how to love yourself, then you don't know what drive and direction your life is going to go in. As masculine and feminine, we have both aspects within us. So masculines have feminine and masculine, and feminine have feminine and masculine. Sorry, yes. Anyway, so realizing we have to balance both within ourselves, and if one is imbalanced, it throws the whole system off. So realizing you need to take care of you right now and listen to what it is that your life is trying to tell you. If you are supposed to be the happiest in your life and yet you feel the most frazzled and razzled, okay, so do you have too much on your plate, or are you living, like, what can you relax and let go of, and what is truly important? So realizing, okay, if everything around me is chaotic and I say that this is my best life, maybe I need to look at what I'm telling myself and everyone else and start realizing what truly is that makes me happy. All right. Hello, I am Lara Jo. Come on in. So we have community and come to the edge. You have to get out of your bubble to be able to find your people. Be willing to go out and explore. Find out what you like. Okay? So come to the edge and community. If you can't find people around you that you align with, start your own online community. Start traveling. Start exploring things that you want to explore, okay? Shanta, we're doing collective energy reads, my love. So if you come in and it resonates, please hit the like button. Please share, comment. But we're doing collective reads, so if you come sit and listen, you'll probably learn something. All right. So we have blessed and orphaned. All right. When family does not feel like family, being alone feels like a blessing. All right. So orphaned and blessed. Sometimes you have to realize when you don't get along with your family, that's because you're not meant to be like that, right? If you've ever gone through huge trauma or anything like that and you go, how could that person do that to me? That's because you don't think as they do. that's a beautiful thing. So when you look around at your family and you are like, how are we even related? That's because you're not like them. So choosing your own path is the more peaceful option. So don't look at being alone as a curse. Look at it as you get to live your life without people trying to rain on your parade. Why? So if you feel as if you're in the same mental loop, realizing, okay, why am I feeling as if I'm stuck? You cannot heal pain until you realize that you were actually hurt or injured. So that's something that's been coming through the last few days. We always say, oh, I'm fine, or it's okay, or I expected this. No, you can't actually heal that wound until you feel it and admit that it hurt, or admit that you didn't like that, or admit that it was unfair. So I know it feels hard to feel, and yet the only way to get past this point of pain is to push through the pain, okay? You can rest, you can cuss, you can scream. It's okay to slide backwards, but don't give up, all right? Don't let the pain of the past hold you prisoner in the future. You don't live there anymore. Okay, go the distance. Make yourself a priority. Make your happiness a priority. Okay, so if you say you're a parent and you're like, oh, I feel selfish. No, because if you're unhappy, your kids won't be happy. If you're exhausted, your kids won't have a parent that shows up and is rested and can be the best parent. So go the distance. Make sure that you're taking care of you and filling your cup and then filling the cups of those around you. Also, don't be doing excessive, so if you are doing excessive things right now, drinking, smoking, doom scrolling, anything like that, stop. Actually, go lay down, take a nap, okay? Thinker and loyal heart. So thinker and loyal heart, realize what it is that you truly want, what you are willing to go the distance for, okay? Rest and daydream is a big... When was the last time you just laid down and let your mind dream about a brighter future? Because if you can dream it and feel it, it will become. So, reincarnation. Or no, it's regeneration. All right. Well, that's good though. At least when you recognize that you need to stop doom scrolling and smoking, then okay, so recognizing that there's a pattern, and I was just speaking to someone about this today because someone I dearly love. Hey Angie, don't feel called out, because babes, if you can't look in the mirror, someone's got to come along and be like, hey, we love you, we need you. If you truly want to be on this mission with us, on this Merkaba, on this journey, you gotta show up and show out. It's not a call out. And I do call people out, but I call myself out too. So don't feel personal. You can ask Eating Bubbles. I call out all the time, but I call myself out. Like when I mess up, I admit it, right? Because if I can't admit it, then like my babies can't admit it. And I want my kids to be able to admit when they mess up. So if I can't admit that I messed up, how can I expect my kids to? So, yes. It is the truth, and it needs to be called out, and even if my voice is shaking, I'll still call it out. So regeneration is being brave enough to show up the next day, even if you're scared, even if you're tired, even if you don't understand. Okay, so Zephyriah, what I'm going to say here, I was talking to somebody about addiction, and somebody they love dearly is deeply in addiction, and the people in their lives are seeing it. And where the challenge is, I'm like, people can't come out of addiction until they realize that there's a problem, and until they want to. It's a choice. Like, sobriety is a choice. And you can't make them for that. You can't make them stop. You can't guilt them, shame them. Even being locked up won't make them stop. So it's one of those that like people in addiction have to choose to stop. And here's where, because I suffered with, and typically, yep, it's a whole generational pattern, but people don't ask to be addicts. Like I was an alcoholic, right? And I came from a family of alcoholics, and I was married to an alcoholic, and it's alcohol is one of the worst illnesses, addictions that you can probably battle, and it eats your life, it eats your body from the inside out, and it's so mainstream. So Angie, talk to me on the back end because I want to talk to you about it because we can walk through that. Okay, because I've walked through coming out of alcohol addiction. But here's the part that I got to is I've gone through the hardest days since I quit drinking, and my whole life changed around after quitting drinking. But I've gone through my hardest days sober. But here's the point. Even when it's a really hard day, I'm like, I don't want to start over again. And with alcohol addiction, 4 days is all it takes for you to be like, yes, the 4 days is very dangerous and you have to be very careful with all that. But 4 days is all it takes for you to be sober from alcohol. So, but at the same time, you don't want to restart the clock. That was why I didn't pick up with the addiction again, because I was like, I don't want to restart that whole. Yet, if you do, it's not that big a deal, right? It's better to catch yourself slipping and then correct immediately. It's okay. So, okay. Hey, Cottage, how are you? How's the baby? Yeah. Yeah. And Zephyr, I also do a lot of like somatic healing. I do a lot of medical because I used to work in the medical field. So I can, a lot of times we can trace down the emotional baggage around medical illnesses and addiction and all that jazz. Okay. Yeah, Cottage, I've been having issues. Hello, 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 hello. All we need is Davey, and we'll have the whole like Twitch crew back in here, right? And an add-on. Welcome to the shit show, Zephyriah. I am Lara Joe, Siren's Long Lover. All right. The fates, knowing that some things are out of your hands and you just have to sit. Okay, so when really big things happen, sometimes you have to just go like, I am not in control of this situation. I don't have the keys to the car. I just have to go along for the ride. So, oh, thank you. So like with one of my kids, she's in a situation where she's like, I can't really do anything. I'm like, just get in the car, put in your AirPods, enjoy the ride, and sit back and relax, right? Like, if you can't do anything, just make the best of the situation. Sing if you have to. Yeah. I love the black kitty meme there, or the black kitty. Is it a sticker? Emote. Hello. I'm Lara Joe. We're doing Siren Song Lover. Catherine, nice to meet you. Come on in. I have multiple communities, so if I'm in, but if I pop over to this side for a moment, just bear with me. You hear me talking to anybody else? It's like another community going. All right. Eating bubbles. I'm glad to see you again today, baby. Okay, truth be told, you have to start admitting what makes you joyous, what makes you happy. So, Cottage and Twitch and everybody, Catherine, I'm doing just kind of collective read and just hanging out. So if you come in, you like the vibe, hang out and fall in love and, you know, book a read. Truth be told, so we have to start admitting what we like. I had forgotten because it had been so long since I had streamed. I had forgotten how much I loved streaming. Like, I forgot how much I loved showing up and, like, talking to people and having connection. It's so admitting, okay, also part of healing is admitting that you're angry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be frustrated with everything that's going on. So please start being truthful with yourself. Please start being truthful with at least yourself. And like, if you come to book a reading with me, please be truthful with me, because if you lie to me, oh, baby. But truth be told, start telling yourself the real freaking truth today. If you don't like something, just stop. Like, honestly, I used to be one of those people. I am an avid reader. I love to watch movies. I just love all of that, right? It's easier to escape into media than it is to actually be a part of life. That's what I learned as a child, so I love media. That being said, I used to have to finish everything. And now I'm like, even if it's a series and I'm partway, like midway through the series and I don't love it, I'm stopping right there. Because stop doing the things, stop committing to the things that you don't truly want to be doing anymore. Please. Yes, it's hard. And yes, you may take a loss. but start giving up the things that make you unhappy. If it makes your body feel sick, if it makes your soul feel uneasy, if it makes other people around you that you love uneasy, stop doing those things, and please stop committing to them. Yes, and eating bubbles, I felt the need to come back in today, which I've been going through a lot of really hard things. Like, my life is whew, a real doozy right now, and yet I just keep going and keep trying to make the best of everything. So, and that's all we can do, is you just have to show up. Sometimes you just have to show up, and then you get into the groove and you're like, okay, we're ready. Okay, so you know what? I did have to today, because I got a new deck. I got a dog tarot, and I freaking love it. Look at the sun is a corgi butt. So I am hopping into some tarot. All right. Hello, hello. I am Lara Jo, Siren Song Lover. Okay, so we have 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and 6 of Swords. So there was this situation where it's like you've been financially just scrounging, trying to look for different avenues, right? So then with 6 of Swords, you're going to be moved to safety. Yeah, I get that. Yes, Cottage. Thank you for your enthusiasm. I love it. The dog tarot. So 3 of Swords, or sorry, 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and 6 of Swords. So you have been in this financial bind. And 7, that's like you've been trying so many different options. And 6 of Swords is like, okay, you're finally going to be getting that safe passage. Like, whether that be the promotion, whether that be like an unexpected check from somewhere. It's like you're going to have something that helps you kind of get along, or a way to, for me, what I've noticed recently, it's like, it feels like I'm going to have a way to tie everything kind of in. So 6 of Swords, it's like, yes, you've been in that bind. This is also teaching you how do you function when you're put in tight situations, right? So that's the challenge. We can be our best person when everything's good, like, right? We feel good, we have great rest, our diet's great, we're exercising, you know, we have everything going for us. Yet, like, I don't know where I was going with that. I totally lost it. Sorry. Yes, universe, give us the money. Safe passage. Oh my gosh. The train left the station. Sorry, guys. I don't care. All right. Yes, universe, give us all money. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, yes, we can look great when everything's great, but how do you function when everything's tight? Because that's truly the measure of your character. So, yeah, when everything's great, you can be your best version. Yet when everything's tight, it's like when money is tight, how do you learn how to budget and make it stretch? Because if you've never known how to make $5 last, you know, when things get really tight, you're going to not know what to do. So when you persevere and you get through it, it's like, okay, how do we make this work? You have to be able to look outside of the box. 8 of Wands, you're getting messages about the ways that you need to pay attention to your hidden gifts. So 8 of Wands, this is dreams, song messages. 8 of Wands, what are your hidden talents? And those will be coming through to you. So okay, border collie dog. My mom had a border collie, and that dog was, I loved her, but she was something. Very hyper, very protective. She knew how to herd, I guess. So ironically, in this deck that my mom had when her and my father were first married, they had poodles. My mom always had to have pedigree dogs, which ironically she always wanted to breed them, yet she was never able to breed them. But the Justice card is a poodle, and that was my mom's first dogs with my dad when they were married. So I find the humor. Okay, Alex, we're not, because you ask every time. Yes. So, 7 of Swords. Watch for the betrayals. The sleight of hands. Like that one. We know that there's cookies there. So why are you being sneaky? Why can't you share? Right? So Seven of Swords is watching people that are trying to hide things from you. Okay? And that may be, yes, they are. And that may be as well also that you're getting messages about. You're like, wait, if they all of a sudden get uneasy when I mention this, why? What am I not knowing? What are they not telling me? Okay. All right. The Star. I love this one. The Star, Page of Cups, the Hermit, and Strength. Okay, so a lot of heavy energy here. So the Star, this is the ultimate goal. Like the Star is saying, I'm getting the ultimate life. Like I get what I want. This reminds me of the dog from The Simpsons. Samson? Was it Samson? Please somebody tell me. So the Star, this is saying, you know what, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to rise up. So realizing you are the main character in your show. Why are you waiting for anyone else? Like I realized some of my patterning. I'm like, you know what, I keep waiting, but what the fuck am I waiting for? Someone or something that never shows up. So if I want life, I have to go out and get it. Right? So realizing that. So Strength is battling, and I know this came out yesterday. Strength is asking you to fight your own demons first before you try to have other people tame your lions, right? Strength is Leo energy. So fighting, like taming yourself before asking others to tame you. Strength is realizing, okay, so with cookies being delicious, also though realizing, like we can have cookies, yet we can't have all the cookies. So realizing even with Strength and our habits is realizing, okay, I can have splurges, I can do these things even if it doesn't make our body feel well. Yes, Santa's little helper, which all weekend my kid was like, oh, sit on Santa's lap, and I'm like, sit on Satan's lap, like, because the, you know, dyslexia, so Santa's little helper. Okay, so Strength, fighting yourself. Sometimes okay, it's always you against you. You are not competing against anyone else. I promise. So Strength is you against you. Yeah, you may, like, they may feel like they're competing with you, but who's competing? You've got your own battles. So Strength is saying, okay, I don't know what they've got going on, but I gotta stay in my lane. Stay in your lane. The Hermit, Page of Cups. Okay, Page of Cups is that very enthusiastic, energetic, like, let's go get them, yet it fizzles out really quick. So with Page of Cups and the Hermit, it's like, okay, if they just drain from me, if they just, you like when a little puppy's around, you're like, oh God, it's so much energy. You gotta realize I gotta go within, right? I can't keep hanging around those that are wearing me out because clearly it's not working for me because I feel burnt out when you're meant to be winning. So stop, yes. And that's the other thing. Stop going around, hey, Droopy. Stop going around people that are socially draining your judgment, okay, or draining your battery. So there's that poodle card there, Angie. You see the judgment? And she definitely looks like such a snooty girl. Yeah, I was thinking about you too. I've been going through it in life. Like, I'm about to be homeless. I got so many other things going on. And I've just realized, like, I keep on rolling, keep on going, right? One day at a time, one battle at a time. Yes, sassy girl. Judgment. So realizing, depends. A lot of people could help me, but I'd have to figure out situations, right? Yeah. Okay, and yeah, my family had a poodle growing up. So judgment, this is calling, and judgment is an inside job, right? So when we finally admit that thing happened and we didn't like it, we call judgment on it, and then we can allow the universe to bring in judgment to the situation. So stop entertaining situations that are not meant for you. Call judgment on it. Like, stop wasting your time on thirsty boys. Obviously, as the poodle, right, we've got standards, we've got things. So realizing, okay, we're no longer going to water ourselves down or dim our shine to make other people feel like they're adequate. Yes. Except for you, okay, so yes, we love having thirsty boys, but then it comes to a point because I got to the point where I was like, I was always of value. I always had input, but they never looked at me while I was heavier. So when people come in, they're like, "Oh, you're so pretty." I'm like, "I'm not impressed. Write me a song. Do something of value. Like, don't tell me I'm pretty because everyone can tell me I'm pretty, but you didn't tell me I was pretty when I was 215. You can only tell me I'm pretty now." So a lot of people, they miss it because I'm like, you like being touched, having your soul touched without love is robbery. It's thievery. So stop giving your energy away to people that don't truly love you. Love yourself enough to say no to situations that aren't meant for you. Okay, I know that sounds, but yeah, if they're thirsty, baby, you can't be the water vessel. So let's just put it like that. Call in judgment, right? Are they worth your time? I had a guy, he wanted spiritual knowledge. I'm like, you better be taking me out to dinner or paying me for dinner if you're going to ask me all of this stuff for free. Because no, like, you're not going to waste my time. Temperance is having the patience, the balance, Sagittarius energy. Yes, I tell everybody because sex is sacred. It's sacral energy exchange or sacred energy exchange. And that's why also it's so desensitized because they want you to think that it's not valuable. Well, that is one of the most sacred ways to manifest. If you can truly tap into sacred energy for sexual manifestation, you can open portals into different realms through that. That's, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Eight of Swords, Page of Swords. Okay, so here's the advice coming straight for this, Angie. Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Swords. So this is saying that, like, stop playing with the ones that just want to play petty games. Like, if you want to be King of Swords, so King of Swords is the investigator. He's a no business. He's very sharp. He's cutting. He's no nonsense, intellectual, right? But you can't get caught up playing with the Page of Swords. Jonisa, give me just a moment, baby. I'm doing collective energy, so I need you to kind of listen. And this all came out as the Suit of Swords, which, yes, because I just purchased it, yet there is no coincidence. So here's what I'm going to say, is that if you have this whole family, actually, this is a prime example. If you have 5 people, right, and they're all swords, they're all petty, they're all fighting, and you had 8 of Swords, okay, you have to get out of the cycle. You have to realize I can't fight with people that are trying to get to my bottom line, which is a good life. So you can't spend your time, and this is also, I tell people, I'm like, let the universe take care of your light work. Like, if somebody's bothering you, let the universe take care of your light work. So Page of Swords and King of Swords, you can't be the King of Swords. Like, be decisive, be intellectual and the boss man if you keep fighting with the Page of Swords, because they're going to run you out of energy, right? So stop fighting with people that aren't on your same level. So Eight of Swords is asking you to get out of your head, because then you also have paired together King of Swords, Queen of Swords. This is like that power couple, like, they're very shrewd. They know how to maneuver through life. So this is saying if you want counterparts, you can't be getting caught up with lower level energies, and it's just vibrational. It's like, okay, I gotta stop playing with people that are playing with me. So that is as well with judgment and temperance. Is saying, okay, I can't keep going this way with them. I have to move myself, because you have to move yourself, they won't remove themselves. So sometimes you have to realize it's like, okay, I gotta get out of here because they aren't gonna leave. It's like when you're at a party and you're like, these people just won't leave. Sometimes you just have to be like, I'm going to bed. So realizing with judgment and temperance, okay, I have to put myself to bed because I need the rest, and they're not going to let me rest, and that's my priority. Yes, Jonisa, I'm going to grab you a card here, baby. Thank you for being patient. I'm kind of doing collective energy, so I'm not really doing like questions or cards, but I will grab one. If it will release, that is the challenge. Let's see. Okay, that was not one. Okay, Jonisa, what is it that you want to know about, that you want one card from? Like, is it love? Is it money? Is it life? What is your goal in your card? Let's ask for intention. And this is why I typically don't do... Okay. This is typically why I don't pull cards, because I have to stop. I have to stack. Okay. Does Leonard love you? I'm pulling from the Love Oracle. This is kind of if you could see what is hidden. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, I am filled with regret. That is the card that comes out. So, that is not your battle to fight, though, right? People mess up, they drop the ball, that's on them. So, I am filled with regret. Whether he loves you or not, he's filled with regret. He probably didn't act very honorably. And you have to look at that as well. Is that I look at this, I'm like, if they truly loved me, if they were truly my friend, they wouldn't do that, right? Because we don't do that to people that we love. I've started telling people, I'm like, people don't do that to people that they love. So even if they're filled with regret, that doesn't mean that you have to let them be a part of your life. And even if they love you, they can't treat you a certain way, just like you can't treat them a certain way either. So realizing that even if they're filled with regret, unless they're actually changing anything about it, it's self-wallowing pity. Because we're not going to sit in the mud with them, because they'll have you staying there all the time saying, oh, you know what, I know, you're so right. No, stop letting people pity themselves, because they made that mess. They were adults. They knew what they were doing. So do not feel bad when they have to sit in their shit or their accountability. Yeah. So I've learned it depends. Like I will help people if they truly are in a dark place. Yeah, I have learned like no, you put yourself in the mud. I am not. I am working on being better at letting people sit in their shit. Right? I have really had to work with that. Is like even though I feel bad for them or even though I feel this, no, you worked really hard to put yourself in that situation, and I am not going to undo my progress because you're an idiot, because I told you not to do that. I am a seer, right? Like, so when people are doing like I'm literally like the mom with the eyes in the back of the head, and I'm like, don't do that, and they'll be like, how'd you know? And I'm like, I dreamt it, I smelled it, I whatever, but don't do that. And then I'm like, when it all goes awry, I'm like, I told you. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any more cards from the Andromeda Skies. So, as a Queen of Swords, I definitely love people from a distance. And here's the challenge I give to you guys. Start placing people in your life based on how they make you feel, not how you feel about them. Place people in your life based on how they make you feel, not how you feel about them. Because if they don't make you a priority, you don't need, like, you can love them dearly, but if you are meant to be a priority in their life and they don't make you it, then you need to say, okay, I need to let you go so that other people that truly will make me a priority can make their way to me. And misery loves company, and I'm tired of sitting in it. So, Jonisa, I check on you from afar, so this feels like it's potentially long distance or like social media. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not going to be answering any more personal questions, right? Those are paid reads, and we're doing collective, and I'm chatting, and yeah. I have a situation. I can feel people knocking on my energetic door, and they're like, unblock me. And I'm like, no, you do the work to be unblocked. Like, if people want to be in your life, they need to step it up. We're not holding the line. One thing one of my kids can tell you, like, one of the songs that always reminds her of me is With or Without You, because I'm like, even if you don't show up, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna get done what I need to do. If you don't show up, that's a you problem. So that is the part, is people want to be like, oh, you didn't wait for me. No, you didn't show up, and I'm not gonna feel guilty about that. So if people can't show up, you can't wait for them any longer, please. Yeah. I get that. Let's see. Destined connection. Okay. That's, so again, okay, we have to realize when people, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so destined connection, that is the other, if you already know it's destined, what are you doing worrying about it? Go enjoy your life. Go sing, go dance, go play, go right in the snow naked and pee. I don't care. But you know, like, this is the thing. If you already know something is meant for you with destined connection, go enjoy your life until it comes along the way. And divine timing, divine intervention has been coming up. All right. So we always like to say, okay, they didn't show up. So, Andy, so I thought of this. Okay, so when we went on a cruise, because if somebody gets left behind at port, like, they have to catch up. The boat doesn't wait for them. So when my ex and we would go on a cruise, we were always making sure we were staying together, because we're like, well, nobody's getting left behind, or we're getting left behind together. I know I just skipped around a little bit, but the universe, if you're meant to be with someone, because you can see people, like, they'll be in the same location at the same time and not ever know each other, be from different parts of the country, and then later down the road they come together. Or even people that live in the same town and yet never meet, they run in the same circles. So it's one of those that if you're meant to be with someone, you won't miss it, because the universe will fold on itself again for you to meet that person. So even if they're late or they miss the bus, they'll still get brought back, and that's what that is. So destined connections, if it's meant to be, it will happen. Even kicking and screaming. So yeah, I am very much so. Like, you're late, that's a you problem. You like, if you didn't get to eat, that's because you didn't show up on time, and I don't care. I don't know. I've had some random crazy adventures with my ex, being stranded places, so, and vacations, and yeah, there is so much I want to tell you. So there is someone around, potentially, if you're resonating, that they want to tell you stuff, and they're ashamed of how they treated you. So yes, okay, but guilt, shame doesn't make it right? So even if they're lurking from afar, that's even more annoying when they're lurking from afar, because it's like, just say something. Because for me, like, I feel people lurking, I'm like, just say hello, like, apologize, so that we can get on to, like, laughing again together, right? Yeah. I would love to feel giggly. I would love to feel, oh my gosh, okay. So love is in the air. It is Libra season, which a lot of times Libra season, if you treat the Libras right, we help you grease into the rest of the holiday season beautifully. So you want to have a good Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, treat the Libras right. It's like cuffing season, right? People start getting serious because it starts getting cooler. So love is in the air, and I'm excited to see people around kind of feeling that giggly and happy, and yeah, love energy again. Fall in love with you again. Fall in love with your life again, please. All right, I'm gonna switch decks. Hello, it's Larry Joe. How are you tonight? Alright. I'm in a country mood right now. Oh, okay, no. So one of my guys, okay. This is the other part. I can feel when people are needing assistance, which is kind of annoying. One of my Twitch guys talked on to me about Hank Williams Jr., and the neighbor was playing a Hank Williams song today. So then I'm like, oh, I can feel so-and-so's energy in my vibration. That's probably why I wanted to come in today, because I can feel him heavily on my energy today. I'm like, oh man. Well, okay, so we'll talk about that. Between worlds. So, Zechariah, what I want to say there is between worlds, you need to, if you've never felt like you loved life, today's the day to go out and find love in life. And then it's hard because once you actually start finding it, right, you'll feel like, how is the world so bleak and blah, blah, blah. No, you have to find the joy in the simple things, whether it be the sun feels good on your face today, or the flowers smell beautiful, or oh my gosh, I didn't notice that. Like, you have to start finding the little things in the big things to fall in love with life again. So even if you had a shitty childhood, you can build the most beautiful future. You just have to be willing to look for it, right? Sometimes it's like trying to find the pearl in the clam. Like, you have to look for it. So find the beauty, find the treasure, even on the hard exterior shell. Yeah. You will believe what you tell yourself. So on really hard days, I tell myself I love myself before I go to bed. So eventually you will believe yourself. So between two worlds, Dolce, I don't message people. So between two worlds is realizing, okay, I know I'm not where I want to be, yet I know that there's more time to go. So even if it feels hard, scary, uncomfortable right now, the best is yet to come. Once you find a certain feeling, like once you find happiness, you can always find it again. Yeah. Yes. Do you know how, okay, I have a million animals, and do you know how much I love watching? Like, do you know how many antics of videos I have of my cats and my dog? And so I have 6 cats and a dog. So I'm Lara and the 7 dwarves. And my dog, who's this gigantic German Shepherd, thinks he's part cat. Like, he thinks he's a cat. He has an emotional support cat. So my big, scary, tough, he is protective dog, has an emotional support cat. I get that. I have I have 6. So I have 2 tuxedo kitties. I have a calico kitty. I have brothers, and one's a ginger and one's a spooky kitty. And then I have a brown tabby. They all have various different personalities and temperaments. So. I understand that. And we learn so much from watching animals and observing animals. Like, a lot of my healing has come from observing animals. I learned how to love from dogs. Like, if you can make a dog happy, because dogs are super easy to make happy. You just have to, it's simple. So realizing, and they give unconditional love. So if you can learn how to love people unconditionally, like how you would love a dog. And then cats is like learning to love with parameters. Like, yeah, I'm going to show up. I'm going to eat. Yeah, I'm going to protect myself. And I'm going to be at the first go. I'm going to leave. So we learn through observation of animals. Start watching everything around you and realizing that it's a teacher. Yeah. I get that. And my cats act like dogs too. Ironically, when I adopted my boys, I called them my hellhounds, and they really do. Like, the one, when he meows, he sounds like he's from the pit of hell. I'm just like, okay, I guess. And they sound thunderous when they go down the hallway. Okay, so not for you and soulmates. So if that person feels like they're not for you, they're probably not for you. No. Okay. Cute. I love kitties. One of my children. Okay, so if you want to talk about conspiracy type things, so have you heard of A31 Atlas, Zephyriah? When I adopted my boy, because they were brothers, and I dreamt of them 6 months before they came in. They were a prophetic kitty. Yes, everyone that you meet they're a soul kitty. So every animal that you meet upon your path is an angel. They are part of your soul family. That's a cute eating bubbles, dozer, and basil. Yeah, so no, that's probably It feels like a great aunt. Okay, and A13 Atlas, supposedly it has the Lyrans, which is the kitties on it, like 20-foot kitties. So if you get along with kitties and we have to be enslaved to any races, the A13 Atlas with the kitties may be the right ones, right? Some of us been training for that with being cat tenders. And cats, we don't choose cats, cats choose us. Yeah. I I feel as if I'm sensing someone that's like a heavy smoker. Maybe not, but somebody that's a heavy smoker, like an aunt, that probably was kind of strict on you, but also very loving. And with the ginger cat, like ginger cats are notorious assholes, right? But they're also very loving. So it's one of those that they kind of teach you about karma. Because you're like, you didn't have to go doing all that. They also teach you how to be petty. They want you to be petty. Cats teach us to be like, get our lick back because we need to. Yeah. When I adopted the boys, I was tempted to name them Bert and Ernie, and that would have probably fit for them because they share half a brain cell and they are something. Oh, I get it. I get it. Angie, you are an orange cat personality. No offense. Okay. And I bet you so Zechariah, do you know about ancestral veneration or can we talk about it? Cuz I bet you it is probably your great aunt Ellen and I can offer a way for you to connect with that. Cuz if it is, they'll probably want to chat with you. Okay. So your ancestors want to talk to you, right? And they have so much knowledge, but if you don't open the channel, they can't give you that knowledge, right? When we're going through really hard things, we can ask our grandmothers to help us, but we have to open that. And how we do that is by offering them a seat at the table, offering them an offering. So it can be as easy as a glass of water. Ancestors love alcohol, they love tobacco, they love a good time. I'm not saying in like, nefarious ways, but they do love, so those are all beneficial. So if you want to kind of start connecting with your ancestral realm and having that knowledge and help come through, because they don't just give you they help you too from the other side. So realizing that if we don't have, yeah, she would love it. If it is your aunt, your great aunt, I bet you she would. And I bet you she has, do you have some, are you like, do you have a boy around you that's giving you a hard time? So okay, so the challenge is I don't necessarily love doing general reads, but you get me on talking to ancestors or with or about ancestors. I love it. So yes, offer a glass of water first to start. I always give shots. They love alcohol, so I don't drink. I haven't drank for almost 2.5 years, and I always keep alcohol in the house because the ancestors love it. Yeah, yeah. You sure can. You can also sit down, like when I first started and I had no idea and I didn't have anybody to teach me. I used to sit, I would lay out, like I would get, when I would go to like my dad's favorite fast food place or the family running joke, I would get his meal and I would get a beer for him and I would pour that beer. It would like be, if he was particularly calling, I would get a sandwich for him and like a beer and sit at the table and have a candlelight dinner so that way it was like I was being able to make that connection. And that really is how it starts. And it starts as easy or as hard when you're making food. Like around my mother's anniversary of her death, she was really chatty, in the sassiest of ways. My mom was super sassy. I would, when I was making dinner and I was very, very poor at the time, money was really tight, I dished out just a little bit of eggs and a little bit of tater tots and a little tortilla off of what I was eating for her because I was fixing for myself, so I'd better be fixing for her, especially if it's around the anniversary of her birthday or her, I don't, like I say, I think it might have been the year anniversary of her death, which was not as natural as everyone wants to say it is. Um, they like that though. They want to communicate, but you have to open those channels for them. So yeah, I love it. And yes, they definitely like that. They liked all of the human things because they, not that long ago, they were still human. All right. I love it. Please let me know higher power, so put it in the hands of God and let it go. Or higher, I say God, but like God is just a creator. I don't necessarily put like the heavy, but it's creator. What do you consider as your source of creation, your inspiration? Yeah. I love it. I normally just put it on top so that the animals can eat it or whatever can. I love to leave offerings, like if it's food offerings, you know, leave what you can for nature. Give back to the earth, but yeah, yeah. No, they love it. So offering to your ancestors is a beautiful way to have assistance. Nice. All right. Buy the book. Make sure that you're doing things right, especially in the spiritual realm. Don't be calling on things you don't understand. Don't be doing things you don't understand. Don't be violating free will of others, please, whatever you're doing. Trust that it's going to be handled. I know we all like to be like, you know what, God's a little busy, I'm going to handle this karma. No. Realize that sometimes you just need to let it play out. All right. So, Magician, High Priestess, King of Cups, Ace of Swords. High Priestess and Magician. This is very... So this is realizing, okay, especially with King of Cups and Ace of Swords, realizing, okay, what intuitively am I missing? What do I need to use to work around? How do I need to tap into King of Cups? This is being very passionate, emotional, realizing, okay, how do I need to cut out those that are trying to trick and deceive or keep us caught? So if it's intuitively affecting your emotions, you need to mentally, like logistically, logically let it go. All right, so if they're causing you to get in your feels and you're not someone that gets in your feels, use your mind. Mind over what's the matter. Page of Cups, realizing, again, if they wouldn't like what they're doing to you, like, why are you, it is a collective. Queen of it, thank you for the heart, maybe. So Page of Cups is realizing, like, okay, we can't keep chasing after people that are not truly filling our cup. And Page of Cups, God love them, they just don't have what it takes to make it through the day. So Page of Cups, we're saying, okay, if they're not able to meet us, we're not going to take that. I'm not going to hold that against them. That's the other, is realizing if someone can't show up, that's not for you to either compromise or to try to force them to show up. No, you got to realize, okay, I got to keep moving regardless of if they're with us or not. And Zechariah, please let me know how that works with your ancestral offering. What the feedback is on that, if you'd like. When you get feedback. All right. The Chariot, Cancer energy, we're moving forward. We're no longer sitting still for anyone else. We're going to get up and get what we want. Cancer that's like family life, that's home life. It's realizing, okay, I am the vehicle with which I achieve my goals. You are the vessel. Why are you waiting for anybody else? You know what you want in your love and your family. Why are you asking? And if you don't know, learn that about yourself. I always tell people, when you're single, go out and learn where you like to eat. Go out and watch the movies you want to watch. Like, date yourself. Okay, one of the habits when I get out of my marriage, because I was in a long-term marriage, I started buying myself flowers regularly. I had a guy, he gave me a hard time. He's like, well, why do you buy yourself flowers? I'm like, because that's a standard that I hold for myself. I like buying myself flowers. And the ancestors, when you do ancestral work, they love flowers. So flowers are a necessary part of my practice. They're a necessary part of my life. And I'm a Venus-ruled sign, so of course I'm going to love flowers, right? Especially roses. And when he's like, oh, why are you buying yourself flowers? Because that's a standard for me. And if you want to be with me, you have to maintain that standard, because I'm not going to stop buying myself flowers because you can't measure up. So that being said, start setting the standards for how you want to be treated, how you want to be loved. So that way, when someone comes in, if they offer you less than that, you're going to be like, get out of here. Because why would I want to date someone that is going to make me have to underdate myself? I'd rather sit alone, right? It's better to sit alone than to sit in front of someone that's disrespecting you and eat dinner. So realizing I would rather be my own company, and that's the other, get so radically comfortable being alone that you don't care who shows up. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, I don't care who shows up. I'm having a good time or I'm not having a good time, but I showed up and that's what matters. Realizing, okay, if they're not showing up, I don't care. That's a them problem. Go. Yes, so. Yeah, well, okay. And Angie, that guy was all invasive, and that was the dude that went on to another woman because he got obsessed with me. He thought I was the one, and when I said no, he went and lost his mind trying to be the perfect man for another woman, which he never should have done. So, even though it was none of his business how I dated myself and what he wanted me to accept, he went and he took care of himself. That's why I tell people, I'm like, do not get your hands dirty because people will take themselves out with their bad behavior. So I saw that guy was dangerous, and I tried to warn people, and no one wanted to listen. And he did go on, and he was dangerous. I'm like, well, you can't help them all, right? Yeah. Correct. So that was okay. So thank you for putting that as saying that not every instance is a thing to blame on yourself or someone else. So being gentle. So before you knew what you know now, right? That's a different version of you. So even if you feel a way about it now, you didn't know then. So stop being so harsh on yourself. Stop calling yourself every name in the book, right? You didn't know. When a flower doesn't grow, we don't condemn the flower, we change the variables in which we are trying to achieve the thrival, right? So when we're in a situation where we're not thriving, we don't yell at ourselves, we change the conditions. Okay, so stop saying that, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. No, change the variables around you and see if you start moving different. See if you start breathing better. See if you start feeling better. And also, Zephyriah, I need you to start with small changes because small changes built up over time make a big difference. So, of course, there's that whole statement: how do you eat a dead elephant? One bite at a time. So, life in progress. It's about do you show up every day and chip away? And even if tomorrow you have a backslide in progress, like say you're doing so great eating well and doing keto, and even if you do that, even if you have a day of backslide, it's not letting it all go down the drain. That's been the biggest part with my healing journey now, is that even if I have like a moment of a backslide, I'm not going to let it completely destroy my progress. Like when we're dieting and we're like, okay, well, oh, it's totally ruined. I have to wait till Monday to start my diet again. No, I may have ruined my diet with a meal, but I can just as easily slip back into doing the right thing. So realizing that we're human, we're meant to make messes, and that's the other part though. When we make messes, we have to correct it, right? So realizing, okay, I'm gonna be messy, I'm gonna fuck up. So I need you to realize you're allowed to have emotions. And if you don't start feeling your emotions, you're never going to be able to heal it. Because if you never admit that you got hurt, you can never actually heal it. You have to heal it by feeling it. So in order to admit that it's a problem, you have to actually feel the pain. And I'm stubborn as hell. Yeah. And that's right, Zephyr. Like the next meal, that's your chance to get on track. Even if you blew it, you can always start again. And God, okay, think of Michael Jordan. How many throws did Michael Jordan have to make to be fucking Michael Jordan? If you think he got knocked down every time he didn't make a basket, He wouldn't be Michael Jordan. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to play. You have to be willing to play until you're so fucking tired that you can't. But that's the whole point, is that you have to be willing to say, okay, I didn't make that one in the basket. What am I going to do to improve? We need to look at setbacks not as setbacks, but start looking at, like, how can I improve? Because even if you mess it up, right, you have a glitch, you can always say, okay, you know what? Because then you can start realizing when you mess up, like in diet, this is the thing for me. When I catch myself not eating right and I slip up, and then I realize, like, oh, that really messed my stomach up, even just by the one tiny slip up, and then it encourages me not to keep eating horribly. So it sounds maybe kind of hard, but when you start changing yourself, you start realizing, like, oh, when I don't do this, I feel differently. Like, I know it's for me because I do oil pulling, and I wasn't super consistent in the beginning. I didn't see a real difference, and then I started getting really consistent, and then I dropped off for a little bit. And when I started back up again, I go, oh my gosh, I realized how much I needed this, but I also realized what happens when I don't do it, and the benefits of doing it are better than the benefits of not doing it. So it's better for me to just make it a priority. And that's the part, we choose everything. Yeah, and remember how I said earlier, it's okay to have an exception, it's okay to have a cheat, it's okay to have, like a slip, but it's like, okay, how do we go right back to it? Because it doesn't matter if you have one incident with diet or whatever it is, it's how do you, and it's also having a healthy relationship with food. When you start realizing, okay, I'm comfort eating, why am I comfort eating? And for me, I started tying, like, certain food triggers to when I was comfort eating. I'm like, what was this food trigger in childhood? Why am I choosing that in this moment to go to turn to find comfort in? And that actually helped with deep somatic PTSD healing, like certain candies. I was like, why am I always drawn to that? Well, this is the trigger behind it. So then realizing, okay, when I'm choosing that, I'm having a trigger. I'm not truly needing to eat that. I'm not truly wanting to eat that. I'm trying to soothe the trigger, a childhood trigger. And if I can actually rewrite the trigger instead of just eating the candy, I know this is all really freaking hard, yet we make choices. So why not make the choice to stop choosing the bad thing? Yeah. And yes, and that was the other part. I'm glad that eating bubbles, I'm glad that you make that point, though, with the self-hatred, that was something that helped you kind of work through, because you have seen the results of having a kinder voice with yourself and how it is helping you lose weight. Because yes, even if you mess up, like, you're human, everybody's human, we're all gonna have an off day, right? So be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, and do better the next time. Yeah. And you just go, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to try even harder to beat like, you can start turning it into how a competition of you against you. If you break your diet, okay, can I go 5 days without breaking my diet next time, and make it a competition? Correct. And you'll actually probably, if you can trace back, and it's really challenging, but totally recommend, right? You have to go into the pits of hell to be able to finally get out of them. You have to realize you're in the pits of hell and go into them, and then to get out of them. So when you actually trace back, like for me, I love coconut because my dad and my son hate it. So I enjoy coconut because food aggression in my family was a real thing, and if a boy wanted anything, he had to have it. So I loved having, like, mounds and almond joy because my dad and my son hated it. So for me, when I look at certain, like I say, food triggers, I look at, like, what is the relationship to it? Why do I choose this behavior? And how do I need to unfuck my brain with it? Yeah, correct. And that's the other part. When you start rewriting those codes, you'll start rewriting those you'll start rewriting, like, what it is you want, what your body craves, how you want to move through the world, because you start shedding those layers of who you are no longer. And it is perfectly normal to have multiple lives within a life, and it is perfectly normal to have, like, I don't even know in the last 4 years how many funerals for the past version of myself I've had mentally. I'm like, I'm no longer ever going to be that woman again. And while that makes me sad, I also have to realize that there's a much more beautiful reality when I realize that I am no longer that woman. I don't identify as her anymore. I don't sit in the same rooms. I don't hang around the same people. I don't eat the same foods. And that's just because I've changed what find comforting now. So we outgrow things. We, go through things. And if you can become bitter, not better, you'll come out on the other side. Yeah. I've never tried coconut Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I get it. All right. Yeah. So and that was, okay, I had a come to Jesus moment with myself today because I looked at it and was like, I need to finally admit that I am actually really pissed off about this. And that's okay because that anger that I had festering inside of me, it was turning me into a version of myself I didn't recognize anymore and that I don't want to embody. So when you have that come to Jesus moment with yourself, like, I am angry and I have a right to be angry and I'm allowed to share my experience without anybody else telling me that I'm wrong for feeling that way or that my experience wasn't that experience. No, I'm allowed to be an observer and report my experience, and no one else is allowed to tell me how I feel about that. And they are also welcome to share their side of events. So realizing you are allowed to feel. You are allowed to share. You are allowed to create. Please create. And that's the thing. When you get in that mental bind, create. Move your hands. Like I'm a fidgeter, and when I didn't know what to say or how to do it, it's putting Play-Doh in my hands, and Play-Doh's cheap. Like, we can find easy tools to help us put that energy into something more useful. We can find simple, and this is part of it too. Part of my practice is helping others learn how to grow and ground and push through those scary emotions, because scary emotions last 17 seconds. So if you can write a 17-second emotion and let that shit go, you'll be okay. But if you say, like, oh, I can't feel this right now, and you stuff it down to deal with later, well, you never truly felt the shit, and you're just carrying it around, but you never get back to looking at it because you're too scared that's gonna hurt. No, feel your feelings. 17 seconds. You can last 17 seconds of feeling a certain way. That's also for manifestation. If you want something, you can feel that for 17 seconds to bring in for manifestation. So it's saying, okay, ride that. Get through it, because once you get through it, you'll be okay. You'll be able to bring yourself out of that fight or flight, because that is the challenge. Also, when you're fighting with someone and you know that they're triggered, they're fight, flight, or fawn. And when you say things because you got triggered, you're in fight, flight, or fawn. So be kind with yourself. Get yourself to safety. That's the other thing. When you're around people, you have to start realizing these people aren't my enemies. I don't need to fight or flight or fawn, unless you do. And if that's the case, then let's talk about that too, because I've worked on that side of it. I've been in dangerous situations. I've evaded men that want to kill me and women, and that's the whole freaking thing. This being said, though, when you get triggered, you need to realize you're safe. I am okay. I don't need to get out of this situation. I'm not running from the law. I'm not running from my life. I'm just feeling emotional. So if you just tap back in, right? Can you find something to focus on? Can you do ice? Can you touch something soft? Can you smell something to bring yourself back into this moment here and now, and realizing, okay, I am not in danger. Why am I feeling so triggered? If you're around people that make you feel unsafe, then that's a different story. And even if it's mentally unsafe, because mental clarity, mental peace of mind is important. Your health is your wealth, and your health is attached, and your wealth is attached to your mental health. So before you can help anyone else, you have to make sure you're good. And how we make sure you're good is when you get grounded, okay? So realizing I'm not in danger, I don't need to run off. I can deal with this. I can put my big boy panties on. I can put my big girl panties on, and I can face that thing. I had a client who was with some medical health issues, and they're like, I'm so scared. I'm like, but unless you actually get it checked out medically, because while I do believe in holistic approaches, I do also believe in, like, okay, we need the testing to be able to make those decisions. You need to have, like, you need to follow medical guidelines and then make that decision on what's best for you. So when they were like, well, I'm so scared that they're going to find something. Well, if you don't address it, you won't know, and there may actually be someone there. And I used to work in medical imaging, so like this was an issue that I've seen what happens when cancer runs through the body and eats through the body. And I was trying to tell them, I'm like, if you don't get it checked out, like, cancer is a horrifying way to end, and it would be better to treat it while it's still minimal before it spirals out of control. And when you refuse to look at the scary things, so even when you refuse to look at the scary things, like if you have a weird noise in your car and you're like, I don't want to get that checked out. Well, if you don't get it checked out, it's only going to get worse. So even if the things scare you, you have to check it out, because if you don't check it out, it may actually have more critical effects. So realizing, I may be scared, but I'm going to do this thing, because this is the other challenge. You've gotten through so many harder things. Why are you letting this one thing take you out? Like, I don't know you, but I know you enough to know that you've been through some shit. So why do you let a little thing take you out? Also, stop seeking validation and stop feeding people that seek validation. Because when no one else shows up, you have to be your cheerleader. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hold you pause when I say this, right? On your hardest days, 100% of the time, you've shown up for yourself. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you're tired of your own bullshit, and even when you're back on your bullshit, right? Like, I am back on my bullshit. I always tell my kids, I'm like, you know what? I'm back on my bullshit. I'm in my game. So realizing you have to show up on all the days. So why do you fold when someone else says that you're not strong? Because, baby, you have dug yourself out of the pits of the hell when no one else showed up. Even when no one else showed up for years, you were digging yourself out, even if it was a spoonful. So please stop seeking other people's validations. Yeah, except for you have to realize it's your bullshit. So you have to love you. So even on your bullshit, you have to realize that there's a reason for it, babes. So this part of it, you're worth the fight. So why? Why do you need that other person to tell you you're valid? Why do you need to tell them that you're cool? You don't. Okay? Yeah, Zephyrite, you're already doing it, babe. So realizing that on your hardest days, you were the seed. You were the one that grew even when no one else showed up for you. So, baby, you deserve a good life. And Queen Yvette, you deserve a good life because you worked for it. And also start realizing, okay, so start speaking it over your life. I'm a lucky person. I'm a lucky girl. And realizing luck is nothing more than having that vision and putting yourself on the right path for what it is you want. So when people want to say you're so lucky, no, bitch. I had the vision and I put myself on the path. And if you have a problem with that, go have your own vision and get on your own path. Also, this is just hard life advice. Whether I'm your auntie, your sister, your daughter, your whatever, you want me to be your wife. This being said, stop taking criticism from people you don't respect their life choices from. Like, if they say, oh, you should do this, but they aren't doing it themselves, they don't have a dog in the fight or a leg to stand on. So stop taking their criticism too. Because everybody that's doing less than you always wants to say you should do more. Or everybody doing less than you always say, why are you doing so much? Not why am I doing so much? Why aren't you stepping the fuck up? Like, I have a vibe, and you either match it or you get the fuck up out of here, but I'm not stopping for you. So people want to say you're doing too much. No, you're doing too little. Guys want to say, oh, you need too much. No, buddy. Like, the basement is in hell for what you think that you're, like, what you think I should accept from you. Like, no. Yes. Oh, no, Zephyrah. Zephyrah is already deep in it. And Zephyrah, I don't know if you're a boy or girl, so I'm sorry, I'm not trying to assume, but you're already in it, baby. We're good. We got it. Oh, no. I be everybody's wifey. No. So the guy that went off his fucking rocker, I was no contact, hated that dude because he was a businessman and he fucked me over. He went around town telling people that I was his wife. He pulled my picture off of Facebook and was going around telling people that he drastically lost weight and he had a brand new outlook on life because of me, and that I was his wife or to be wife. And then again, when I said, no, fuck you, you treated me like shit, he had a problem with that. And then, like I say, he did everything under the sun to try to get me to be with him. And then when I wouldn't, he went off to be with someone else, took my business ideas, took everything like I taught him, went off, was successful for a very short amount of time, had everything in his life, like bragged about it all over social media, like, oh, I have this first thing, blah, 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 blah. Not even a month after bragging all over social media, and he was notorious for being messy all over the place, trying to get my attention on socials, and I ignored him. And then not even a month later, after him posting like, oh, this is great, he popped a girl. I was like, and she was a mother of 3, which was like me. She was a ovarian cancer survivor. And I was like, and I knew because I knew the Akashics, right? Like, so I knew the Akashic records. Like, he was a past life contract. He's done this to me in past lives. He's done this to other people. If I hadn't gotten out of his way, like, that hit would have been on me. So I realized, but when I look at it and go, I would have been so pissed off if that was the motherfucker that took me out of here, because he was never worth it. He was never worth it, never worth it, never worth it. Like, he should have been in jail a long time ago. He is a dangerous society. But then, yeah, no, karma did catch him. But he was one of those, like, he wanted to get messy all over the place. And I was like, you know what? I see what he's doing. I'm not going to react. I'm going to pull myself all the way up out of here. I'm going to remove myself, because you don't need to get in people's water with them. So if you see the karma coming, you get out of the water, right? So I saw that dude. I was like, you know what? I see he's low vibrational. I don't want to get sucked in with him. I'm going to get out the way. And sure enough, he did take out someone else. And while I am very sad for that woman and that part of it, I'm also like, she was doing low vibrational to be in his path. And that's her debt that she pays, because it really is, even life and death, it is all about just energy and balance and checks and balances. So it's one of those that, like, that is a whole situation. So if you ever want to know about Akashic stuff or past life stuff, please come see me. I know a lot. I do a lot. I see a lot. I do Reiki, sound therapy, inner child healing, PTSD, womb healing, a lot. So come see me. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I've started telling people, like, you're messy and I'm not your mom. You either grab a bucket and a mop or get all the way the fuck out. Like, Cardi B WAP business. Like, I don't cook, I don't clean. I ain't your mama. Get the fuck out, right? So that part, like, you're gonna get messy. No, man. I've already raised. So I had 3 kids of my own. I helped raise 3 kids. I've been married. Like, I'm not gonna raise another grown ass dude. Right? So we gotta start telling people, place them where they're, place them accordingly. But also remember, we place people based on how they make us feel, not how we feel about them. Okay? And if that, I really need you, love, and I'm sorry, like, I know I'm gonna call you on it, but I feel like you, that, like, it really feels applicable to you, baby. You have a heart of gold. And I feel like it's towards a mom figure. And please let me know if that's right. But, yes. And I actually, Angie, I want to start doing maybe master classes. Like, I'm going to start doing, like, subscription levels. But, like, my Twitch / Discord, I'm considering doing master classes over there. Whether they be protection classes, like doing once a month, like doing potentially a, like, you know, a thing. Okay, so, okay, Yvette, I don't know why, but I do feel called to talk to you about all this, so please bear with me. And I know I'm going to get kind of invasive, but since you've hung around for so long, and I feel like you kind of, I feel you in the vibe here. So, are they passed on? Is it like a grandma figure, or is it a mom figure? Okay. Talk to me, because I feel like, is a mom figure or a grandma figure? Like, I feel just like a, okay, so, but I feel like someone who is like this formidable, just like a brick house of a woman. Like, just, like, formidable. And if I just describe both, bear with me on that too. Okay. So let me know if that resonates. What the feeling you need to like you can act right or sit still if that was the situation because you weren't meant to. You were in a situation that was abusive. So okay, so I it does feel like grandma, but it feels like was she very religious and very heavy handed, like kind of like and I feel and don't come for me, but come for me. If I'm right on, I'm right on. Are you a fire sign or very passionate, very hard headed, stubborn? Good night, Angie. I know. Thank you, love, for hanging out with me. I'm really super happy I got to see you 2 days in a row, and I'm gonna try and start making more of an appearance. Okay, baby. So thank you for joining me. I hope you get a good night rest, and I'll catch you soon, baby. And I am gonna hop out pretty soon. Okay. Um. Okay. So water. All right. I was talking. I am an air sign, so bear with me. I'm an air sign, and I was very heavily partnered with a water sign, which I deserve hazard pay for all of that. Steep hazard pay from the universe for all of my service to the water sign community. Um, so when your emotions, so water, so think of how it water, yeah, no, Scorpio, and like heavy Scorpio, and I'm just like, mother, I don't know what you did and what I did and what you owe to me and what I like agreed to partner with you for so long because I must have not read all the fine print because heavy Scorpio water sign, yeah. It's like okay, I love you guys, but okay, Yvette, I love you. But Scorpio's on my last nerve right now. I'm gonna hold your left paw when I say this. I'm over here like I love Scorpio, but I like you guys are about to get kicked off the bus. Scorpio and Leo both. I'm like, oh, unless you guys start coming correct, like and my ancestors are on your guys' ass too. Like my ancestors are like they show up as like a black sleek kitty, but then they turn into that terrifying panther, and they'll be sitting on you like, "Hey, are you gonna finally stop being a stubborn asshole? Or are you gonna listen? Because I know you got a tough shell." So okay, we should have started there. I may have to go. I may have to go take a minute. I may have to come back. So give me. I actually am gonna take a lap really quick. I'll be right back. Give me about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to this. So bear with me. Hold on. You may or may not see a kitty cruise by. So if you see it, and I live on haunted land. So if you ever see anything float by, that's because I live on very active haunted land. I live in the south, and there are things. You see something you don't, like you hear something, no, you didn't. You see something. I'm in the South as well. So we need to start figuring out how to interlink. Okay, so I'm in Georgia. I was not born and raised here, and it definitely feels like going back in this into time. Like, especially as a mom picking up kids, like everybody looks at me like, and I'm like, no. But we definitely are a very progressive family for the South, and I'm like, how did I go back in time? Like where I live literally feels like sliding back into the 50s. I'm like, okay, so I've done a lot of, while I've been on this land, which I'm not going to be here much longer, but while I've been on this land, I've done a lot of heavy clearing, because this was a very heavy, like, Civil War town. It was very, like, I live on plantation land, so when I say it's very active and very haunted, that's because I can't even tell you how many different spirits of how many different layers and levels, and, that I've had to clear. One of my kiddos, because only my dog. Oh, actually, so the guy who slid off of his cheese, he stayed one night and he woke up coughing blood in the middle of the night. And the next night, like the next morning, one of my totem animals, there was an accident with a deer and he had to shoot it. At like 6 in the morning. I was like, you know what? This is enough of a sign for me that you're not for me, that I need to get all the way the fuck away from you, because if animals that I love and I carry sacred are dying at your hand because I have to take you home early in the morning, you're not the one. And if you wake up coughing blood in the middle of the night, this is an indicator. Like, and actually the first ever time I had an adult sleepover, this is why I feel like my nubblies are cursed. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some things with Scorpio, because here's what I do love about Scorpio. You guys are like amazing partners when you actually admit that you love and that you love someone. But you guys also have to realize that intensity, if it's not reciprocated, like, surviving a Scorpio, like if you are deeply loved by a Scorpio and you walk away and live to talk about it, like, I really am a rarity, because we don't live, right? Like, the fact, and I love the dude. I still love the dude, but I'm also like, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. Like, I love you, but you can't treat me like that. Right? And that's the other part with Scorpio. You guys, like, people love you, but if you won't ever let anybody, like, close to you, how can anybody truly love you? Right? You have this tough exterior shell. But I will say that, though, is like, being loved by a Scorpio, like, they know every intimate detail, but you're also like, dude, you need to not, because... Okay, so where I was going with water. Water tends to be heavy, right? Even like a gallon of water, like, that's really heavy. So water, when you're apathetic, or when you're not feeling like you're just like a weight, right? You feel that apathy, you just get sucked down into darkness. So that's the thing with water, is that when you feel like you're wrong or you shut off those emotions, you get apathetic. And then, even though water is emotions, right, it's supposed to be loving, it's supposed to be nurturing, it's supposed to be feminine, flowing, because that's the beautiful thing about Scorpio, is that when you guys are like such huge transformation. That's the thing I love. Like, and that was the other part that we paired for so long so well, is because we were both like, we could lose our shit and still bounce back. Like, that was even if I lost my shit, like, I would always bounce back. But I seen that dude, like I say, lose his shit and come back from nothing and make it. So that's like the resiliency factor with Scorpio. But it really is like, sometimes you have to realize, like, okay, that's not working for me, because it's all about Pluto energy. So it's death and rebirth and transformation and growth. Like, it's not about where you were yesterday, what did you make from it and become better today. Nobody cares about like, to be honest and sassy or whatever, nobody cares about the struggle. They just care about, like, how did it turn out. So realizing, like, okay, I fucked it up yesterday and shit the bed, but today I got it. So with Scorpio, though, you guys also karmically, and this is the thing, like, I love you guys, but you guys never realize that, like, you are the bad guy. Like, you earn your reputation. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's also realizing, how do you make friends with your shadow and not be that person, at least towards the people you love. Scorpio's kind of in the blender right now. Okay, and I'm not gonna, and this is the thing, when I give information about astrology and stuff, it's never to be like, oh, poor me, or like, no, it's so that you have the information so that you know how to move more efficiently. And whenever I give heavy information, I'm not trying to be like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the worst. I'm giving you that so that you know how you're gonna run the course, how you're gonna be able to, without getting overwhelmed. So astrologically, right now, Mercury is going back in the microwave, right? Mercury's in retrograde, Gatorade in the microwave, however you want to say it. If an astrology girl with a nose ring needs to tell you what's wrong and what planet's making you cry, it's Earth, right? That being said, though, it's in Mars, it's in Scorpio right now. So Mercury in retrograde, so that's on a societal level. And just FYI, Scorpio is the most popular astrological sign, and right now that is prevalent because our society is going through that deep transformation. Scorpio is about like the underworld, the unseen, the gritty side of life that nobody wants to deal with. So Scorpio and Mercury is saying like, okay, what things underneath the surface do we truly need to stop hiding in the closet and actually start pulling out and saying, you know what, this is no longer for me. This is not my fit. This is not my skeleton. This is not my thing. Because when you start getting in there and realizing, you'll be like, why did I carry this around for someone else for so long? That isn't mine. Because I will say this, like, Scorpio has a dark mind. You guys are always down for anything. I don't say that. So it's realizing, okay, but why am I carrying around other people's burdens? So that's why I need you to do with, if you're going into Mercury in retrograde, instead of like, because you guys are kind of in the pressure cooker right now, and I'm watching it. One of my clients is like, but this is one of those, if you've been going along and just being hard-headed and you aren't listening, because Scorpios, like, you guys are natural lie detectors, right? And you guys are so intuitive, yet you have to start realizing, like, intuitively, like, if I don't want to be in this shit show anymore, I need to stop showing up with those people. So right now, what I need you to do is start seeing with people. So again, so as a person that loves Scorpio, that loves like that side of it, what I need you to realize, start treating, so as an air sign, I'm the queen of cutting people off, which I know is Scorpio, you guys love to be like, oh, I'm really good at like petty, long game, cutting people off. No, take a seat and take a lesson from the counterpart side of it. Because this is that part, is stop prioritizing people that make you feel like shit and start placing them, right? Depending on how they make you feel, not on how you feel about them. So where I was going with that, so that deep tie, whoever you have ancestrally, and it does, okay, so it does feel like a grandma. So also we carry those generational patterns. So it does, so when they say it skips a generation, it really kind of does. Like, I live my grandma's pattern, and like my daughter's living her grandma's pattern, both grandmas. So that's the other part. When you come to break those chains, I incarnated and inherited both of my grandmother's karmas and my mama's, and that's a healing is a 7 layer, because it's 7 layers forward, it's 7 layers back. When you're brave enough to heal, you heal so many generations. So while it's hard, it's one of those, like, you have to fight for it, right? If you want better for the future, or you want your grandparents to be remembered, right? Start doing the reparation work within yourself, because we all have shit. Okay, so I feel grandma comes through because there's something that your grandma probably went through that I want you to sit and kind of meditate with, that you need to reach out to her to get information from. So leave her an offering, tobacco, water, alcohol. I was kind of talking about that earlier. Hopefully, I don't know. I think you were in for that, but I'm not for certain. And like I say, I run 2 communities. So if I ever get kind of sidetracked, it's because I got multiple. So again, so I want you to start asking grandma for assistance, asking her for that wisdom, that knowledge, but giving her the offerings. Like, people don't want, like, here's this part. You don't like when people show up and they have empty hands, right? So if we're going to start showing up with people, I tell people, I'm like, if you're going to show up to my house empty-handed, just don't. Either show up with something in hand so we can create, or show up willing to help. So when you're showing up to your ancestors, right, we're going to show up with an offering. We're going to show up willing to help, because they're also going to give you presents and gifts, and they've got way cooler resources than you do. So I was like, that's one of my biggest things. I'm like, shadow work. We gotta start working on shadow work, right? It's okay to feel those big, deep, scary emotions. And Queen Yvette, when was the last time you just screamed your lungs out? Or have you ever? Have you always been forced to be polite? Because I feel like there's some of that deep, heavy grief that you just need to unload from your soul, babes. Okay. When was the last time you screamed? When was the last time you allowed yourself to truly be angry? And I'm not talking about polite angry. I'm not talking about what society considers okay. I'm talking about when did you actually let yourself completely feel all those big scary emotions and just let it pour out of you? Okay. I'm going to tell you, carpe diem nuts, seize the day, carpe diem nuts. So I need you to take yourself on a car ride and pick your angry music, whatever your genre is. Roll the windows down, right? Because you need to let it flow. So roll the windows down, roll the radio up, and just scream your fucking heart out, please, babes. Because you're overdue. Your inner teenager, because that's what it feels like. Your inner teenager, you know, like that fight, that right to fight for your party, or the right to fight to party, right? If you want to channel some Beasties Boys, you haven't remembered why you're doing what you're doing. If you got stunted in that teenage period, right? If you wanted that freedom but you got stuck in family obligations, and please let me know if this is resonating, but if you got stuck in those family obligations, you never got to feel what it felt like to get the keys to the car, to have that freedom to take off. So even if you didn't get it then, I need you to give it to yourself now. Okay? Because it feels as if you had heavy family obligations, like younger siblings or something. And baby, those weren't your fights to fight. And also, you can be angry at your parents, but you have to realize that they also were broken kids trying to raise broken kids. So they didn't have it right. And even if they didn't get it right, you can. Okay? So just because your parents did it wrong doesn't mean you have to. I don't know why this is really... What is it about your family that's super freaking heavy, babes? Because there's a lot there that feels like it just... Abel. Hey. Sir. It may be about time to go because kitties are fighting now, which they do. Okay, so I read this. So 5 of Wands, 4 of Wands. So, okay, I am going to go. What I'm going to say, though, if it's Yvette, I'm going to speak to you on this. And my Twitch community, I love you guys. I'm going to try not to be such a stranger. I'll be back sooner than later, okay? So Twitch, I love you guys.